Welcome everyone to our channel, Orion Therapy Clinic, to our first episode on this channel. Thank you to everyone for watching. Thank you to all of our Instagram followers who've led us to come here. Thank you to all of you for following, all your questions, all your answers. Everything has helped us get here. ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਤੇ all our team is here. We have all our team here from the clinic. ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਅੱਜ ਆਪਣੀ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਤੇ ਜੋ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ question ਆਏ ਸੀ Instagram ਤੇ on some of our reels, some of our posts. We had a lot of questions come up on some of our Instagram posts. A lot of people asking us many things and inquiries about some of our posts, and we want to discuss some of those things today on our first episode. ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡਾ top ਦੇ nutritionist, our fitness director, he's here with us, our team's here. ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਸੀ I can't even think of how many questions there were, but can you think of, what was our top post? Because we had so many posts on Instagram, so many things, so many people, wanting to know, wanting to hear this podcast. But now from the top of my head, I can't think of, what's an interesting post that we made on Instagram that we were asked so many questions about. That's something we can address here and that can help everyone out here on our channel on the first episode. ਪਹਿਲੀ ਕੋਈ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਪੋਸਟ ਸੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਇਨਕੁਆਇਰੀਜ਼ ਆਈ ਸੀ ਸੋਚ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਸੀ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਸੀ
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛੋ ਦੈਨ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਇੰਟਰਸਟਿੰਗ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਸੀ ਜਿਹਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਪੁੱਛੇ ਗਏ ਆ ਉਹ
ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਸੀਗਾ ਮੈਨਸ ਮੈਂਟਲ ਹੈਲਥ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਨਾ
yes
ਤੁਸੀਂ
that was
ਕਿ ਆਪਣੇ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਫੀਲਿੰਗ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ
yes
ਕਿਉਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕੀ ਰੀਜ਼ਨ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ
that was a good one yes
ਉਹ ਇੱਥੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਪੁੱਛਣਾ ਚਾਹੂੰਗਾ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਦੱਸ ਸਕਦੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਕਿਉਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਹਾਂਜੀ that was a good one ਇਹ ਵਧੀਆ ਸੀ that was a good one actually what he said is one of the most questions inquiries we got on our posts on our Instagram following on one of our reels, and this was a very very famous post. They got a lot of hits on there because a lot of men related with it. And the post was about men's health. It was just a small post. Some of you out there might have seen it, and it was just a small post speaking about men's health. And what he asked specifically is why men, especially in our culture, cannot talk about their feelings and why we feel afraid or embarrassed to discuss our mental health, men's mental, especially in our culture, in the South Asian culture, but really for men all around. Why do we feel insecure to talk about our feelings, or we feel like it's embarrassing when we discuss our feelings, when we feel like crying, when we're sad? तो ਸਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਨਾ embarrassing क्यों ਹੁੰਦਾ? ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਪੋਸਟ ਸੀ, ਸਹੀ ਕੀਤਾ. How we can talk about that today. So, and it's unfortunate, but you're right. It is quite sad actually that men these days can't talk about their mental health, especially in our culture. It happens a lot, and the reason I'll tell you for that is because especially in our culture, since we're born, we are by societal standard put into this box that men by nature, as we grow, we're supposed to be strong. We're supposed to be the providers, and that's our role in society. And women are supposed to be, the caregivers, nurturers, helpers, and that's the role that they're given in society. So we're born in this box. ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਚਪਨ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਪੈਦਾ ਹੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਡੱਬੇ 'ਚ ਪੈਦਾ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੈਨ ਦਾ ਰੋਲ ਆ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡਰਸ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਵਿਮਨ ਦਾ ਰੋਲ ਆ ਉਹ ਸੋਸਾਇਟੀ 'ਚ they're nurturers, caregivers. That's the role we're given. Unfortunately, as we grow, this is what we're shown. We're not ever taken out of that box. Our parents, our brothers, our sisters, especially in our culture, they look at us this way. So as we grow, we see our fathers, and it's like we start a generational curse. We see our fathers, we see our brothers, and we see other men around us as being the providers, and that is their strength. So ਸਾਨੂੰ ਡਰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਆਪਣੀ feeling ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੇ ਚ we start to think because our role in the society is not of nurturers or helpers, which is a softer role, where as a nurturer, as a female, as a woman, you can talk about how you feel, how stressed you may be because of the things that you're doing at home, of the care you're providing at home. But for men, it's really hard to do that because we think that if we say we're sad about something, or we are stressed about something, or we feel like crying about something, that's a weakness because we are the providers. ਸਾਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੀ ਫੀਲਿੰਗ ਹਰਟ ਹੋਈ ਆ, ਸਾਡਾ ਰੋਣ ਦਾ ਦਿਲ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, we feel like crying, and that's seen as a weakness. And that, unfortunately, is very sad. And the only way to get out of that box is to realize that time has evolved. We're not living, even then, even centuries ago, it should not have been like that. But we have so much help out here. And the first thing I'll tell you is, जो मैं सब तो जरूरी चीज कहना चाहूंगा, it is not a woman's fault that men cannot talk about their feelings. So we should not blame women for that. If some of us are doing that out there, it is not the woman's fault. It is our own fault that we do not talk about our feelings. And then by doing that, we put women in this box as well, because we feel like we're not able to talk about our feelings with them, and we're taking power away from them as well, because we're not giving them the power to understand us. But then we blame them that, I can't talk about my feelings and women can. That's unfair, because it's neither nor. It's neither the woman's fault that the man can't talk about their feelings, neither is it the man's fault that the woman can't talk about their feelings. So I would say that we have to remove ourselves from this box. Yes, but societal standards, we are the providers. Women do have a certain chromosome in them that makes them nurturers. They are better at, and that's the truth. That's, even though it sounds, like it's just not fair. That's why you'll see children are naturally more attached to the mother. Mother gives birth to them. They're more attached to the mother. So we are providers, but that does not mean we cannot have feelings towards anything. सानू ਇਹਦਾ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੀ ਕੋਈ ਫੀਲਿੰਗ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ, ਅਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡਰ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, ਬਟ ਸਾਡੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਵੀ ਫੀਲਿੰਗਸ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਨੇ. We are providers, but we can also cry. That doesn't mean we cry all the time. That's not what it means. But if we feel sad, if our feelings get hurt about something and we feel like shedding a tear, that is not a weakness. That is a sign of strength. Men need to realize that a man that can show his feelings and that can show his emotions and talk about his feelings, that is a strength. Your vulnerability is your strength. We make it a weakness because we are scared to be vulnerable in front of women or in front of society as a whole. We are scared to say, I don't make enough money. Money is like our weapon. It's our power. That's our strength. And that's how women see us, as powerful. This man is fun, especially in our culture. The first thing that is seen in a man, that's looked for in a man, is what does he do financially? How much money does he bring home? Right away, when these questions are asked, right at first, we're already in this box. ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਡੇ ਕਲਚਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਹੀ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੇਰੀ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵਿਆਹ ਹੋਣਾ ਤੇ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਬਣਾਉਂਦਾ ਮੁੰਡਾ, ਮੁੰਡਾ ਕਰਦਾ ਕੀ ਹੈ. So already, when we are asked those questions right away, how much money do you make? When you get married to a certain person, how much money will you bring home to the table? By asking those questions, you are putting us right back in the box. Nobody ever asks us, how do you feel about this? What do you like? What do you like doing? Where do you like taking walks? But that is okay to ask women those questions. Do you like taking walks on the beach? What kind of movies do you like watching? No, the straight question is, how much money do you make? If a man makes a certain amount of money, he is a right fit for the woman. And that is the problem with the South Asian culture. That's what's embedded in us. So for us to come out of this box, we need to realize it is not the woman's fault. And even in our culture, we need to give women that power, that I want to talk about my feelings. And we need to give them the power that they do understand. We can't take that understanding away from them. Sanu, women ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਪਾਵਰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਦੇਣੀ ਪੈਣੀ. ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਫੀਲਿੰਗ ਵੂਮਨ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਲੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੇ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਉਹ ਪਾਵਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਣੇ ਦੀ. ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਾਵਰ ਦੇਣੀ ਪੈਣੀ. We need to make them understand the only way men can remove themselves from this box, this societal standard that we are constantly put in, this we are constantly stuck in. Only way we can remove ourselves is by realizing that our vulnerability is a strength. Not to think that women won't understand us. In fact, we need to realize that women will understand that, and the right woman that we are with, we can be vulnerable in front of. And today, in this century, in this day and age, we cannot put women in that role either, that they're just nurturers and they're helpers, because they're powerful as well. So together, men and women can take each other out of this box. They a women ਦਾ ਵੀ ਇਹੀ ਖਿਆਲ ਹੈ, and in my opinion women also think the same thing. ਤੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਚ ਇਹੀ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਫਿਲਹਾਲ.
ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਕਿਹਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵਿਮਨ ਐਗਰੀ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਦੈਟ
Yeah,
ਕਿ ਦੈਟ ਈਵਨ ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੁਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਾਰ ਸੁਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਆਪਣੀ ਫੀਲਿੰਗ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰੇ ਜਾਂ ਉਹ ਰੋਂਦਾ ਆ ਕੁੜੀ ਅੱਗੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ, ਬਹੁਤ ਵਾਰ ਇਦਾਂ
ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਹੁੰਦਾ ਤੇ ਕੁੜੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਬਲੇਮ ਕਰਦੀ ਆ ਬਾਅਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੈਟ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਆਲਵੇਜ਼ ਰੋਂਦਾ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਜਾਂ ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਦੀ ਇਮੇਜ ਵੀ ਬਦਲ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੇ ਅੱਗੇ, ਦੈਨ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਨੈਗੇਟਿਵ ਵੇ ਨਾਲ ਲਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ। ਸੋ ਇਟ ਮੀਨਸ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਰੋਕਦੀ ਆ ਮੁੰਡਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੀ ਫੀਲਿੰਗ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਸਟਰੋਂਗ ਆਈ ਮੀਨ, ਪਰ ਇਹਦਾ ਨਾਰਮਲ ਆ, ਜੇ ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਜਾਓਗੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਫੀਲਿੰਗਸ ਟਰਾਈ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰਨੇ ਦੀ, ਰਾਈਟ,
ਹਾਂਜੀ.
ਜੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਉਹ ਬੰਦਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਨੈਗੇਟਿਵ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੈਣ ਲੱਗ ਪਵੇ, ਫਿਰ ਤਾਂ ਬੰਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਫੀਲਿੰਗ ਆਪਣੀ।
You know what? That's a good question. Here's the actually question of the yeah, that's true. So for some of you out there that may not have heard the question is everything that I just said. Will women agree with what I'm saying? Now, I can't factually give that answer because I can't speak for all women, but I can tell you professionally and psychologically that yes, women will agree with what I'm saying, because what I'm saying is to empower women. We need to realize that we need to give women that power, that they do understand us. If ਜੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉਹ woman ਨਹੀਂ ਸਮਝਦੀ, then that's not the right woman for us. If there is a woman that you're with and she does not understand that you're not just a provider, you're not just a machine that works for money, you're a man that has feelings, and there may be times that you have no money. So if we are still in that box and that the woman that you're with makes you feel like your superpower is just bringing money home to the table, I mean, it's important. But if they make you feel like that's your superpower and that's all that you have, then you're with the wrong woman. And vice versa, I will say that to a woman as well. If a man makes you feel like your only superpower is that all you have is you're a nurturer and you're a caregiver and you take care of things at home, and that's the only thing that you provide for the man, then the woman's with the wrong man. ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਾਂਗਾ ਹਾਂਜੀ, women ਸਾਨੂੰ ਔਰਤਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਾਂਗੀ and they will agree with what I'm saying, because I am simply saying men need to empower women to empower themselves. ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ women ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਾਂਗੇ, women ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਤਾਕਤ ਦੇਵਾਂਗੇ, ਉਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਸਮਝ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ. If we understand women and give them that power that they can understand us, then we will be able to talk about our mental health and feel good about ourselves. The only way to do that is to remove ourselves from that box, but it's going to take us. Only we as men can remove ourselves from this box, and the partner that you're with, talk about how you feel. If you feel like crying about something, as I said, yes, I'm not disagreeing with the fact that, by societal standard, men don't cry. I mean, that old goes back to the old statement, westerns and John Wayne,
Yeah.
what manliness is, and I mean, there's manliness has been epitomized by, the Western movies that we used to see, and what men are, and muscles, and how much money men have, and we've seen this through media and social media. All that is true, but that is not all men have. The roles have reversed today. There's, if we can have, women be CEOs and presidents and prime ministers, then you know what? We can have a man cry. So we can't just look at it this way, that, one empowers one or the other. We both need to empower each other. And like I said, the healthy balance is we need to empower women to empower ourselves. ਸਾਨੂੰ ਔਰਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਤਾਕਤ ਦੇਣੀ ਪੈਣੀ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਤਾਕਤ ਦੇਣ ਦੇ ਲਈ. The only way, and it's actually ironic that I say this, but the only way that we can remove ourselves from this box that we are born in is by empowering women, and that will have a boomerang effect on us, and it will give us power back to feel and be like the men that we want to be. So for all the men out there that feel like they can't talk about their mental health, follow our channel because we'll give you a lot more tips. But believe me, if you feel like you cannot talk about your mental health, you're in the wrong environment, you're with the wrong people, and you're associating yourself with the wrong person, you're with the wrong partner. ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ empower ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆਪਣੀ mental health ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ it's not just the wrong partner, a romantic partner. It could be family many times. ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ family ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ, you have a lot of financial pressure and you can't talk about that you're coming to a breaking point and you can't talk that to anyone that I don't have this much money, I need help. And I feel like crying sometimes when I'm alone because there's so much stress, because crying is not a weakness. Crying is just releasing emotions. People release emotions sometimes by laughing, sometimes by it's venting. So through your tears you're venting out what you feel inside, and that's important. It's very healthy.
That's true.
ਤੇ ਮਰਦ ਨੂੰ ਰੋਣਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਹੈ. Like I said, it does not mean that we are going to cry for everything. It does not mean that someone left us and we start crying. It does not mean that.
ਸੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਾਰਮਲ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਤੇ ਰੋਣਾ ਉਹ ਅਸੈਪਟੇਬਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ। ਆਈ ਮੀਨ ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਫੀਲਿੰਗਸ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਟਾਈਮ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੇ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਕਿ ਉਹਦੀ ਇੱਕ ਲਿਮਿਟ ਕ੍ਰੋਸ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਦੈਨ
ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਉਦੋਂ ਤਾਂ ਰੋਣਾ ਆ ਹੀ ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਨਾਰਮਲੀ ਆ ਹੀ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਮੈਂ I wouldn't say it's not acceptable. I would say that you can't be the judge of when you're going to cry. Let your emotions flow freely. When you feel like you need to cry, let yourself cry. There is nothing wrong with that. The only gauge you have of when you want to cry is within you. ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ feel ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਰੋਣਾ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, don't stop yourself. It's just like when you feel like you're hungry, right? If you have those physical needs that you need to fulfill, you have emotional needs that you need to fulfill. So you need to search within yourself and not listen to society around you. ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਭੁੱਖ ਲੱਗੀ ਹੈ ਖਾਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਖਾਣਾ, society ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੋਟੇ ਹੋਏ ਖਾਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਖਾਣਾ. If I tell you you're hungry and society says that you're obese, you're overweight, don't eat now, you will eat because you'll follow those primal instincts, those animal instincts you have in you, survival. You will eat because you feel like eating. But ਜਦੋਂ emotional need ਤੇ ਆਂਦਾ ਹੈ, why do we listen to society then? But when it comes to the emotional needs, why do we listen to societal standards then? So emotional is as important as physical, and that's what we do here. We align the mental with physical. If you feel like crying, you cry because you feel like it. If you're a man and you feel like you have these emotions pent up inside and you feel like crying, let yourself cry and you will feel better. You'll feel released. You'll feel a heavy sigh and you can refresh and restart. The my last tips on the if you're with a partner that you feel like you cannot be vulnerable with, you're with the wrong partner, whether that be family, whether that be a partner. If you're with your family, you need to stand up for yourself and talk about your mental health. Otherwise, you are really headed for disaster. For all the men out there, it's not the women's fault. It's our own fault. Empower women and get yourself out of that box because only you can. Thank you everyone for listening.